I'm Liz Lombard, the Assistant Director in the Career Education Center. Our official name is the Center for Career Education and Professional Development. So we welcome you on this beautiful afternoon to the beautiful campus of Providence College. Also in the audience we have Zara Bond, who's our Associate Director, our newest hire on staff. So we are going to facilitate today's session. The goal of today is to discuss the many ways in which the Career Services Office can help your sons and daughters. I'm going to begin by giving you a brief overview of what we have to offer throughout their 4 years and plus at Providence College. And then we're going to turn it over to our esteemed panelists, those who you really want to hear from, and they're going to speak in detail about their experiences with the Career Services Office. So, who we are a full staff. We have 10 full-time staff. And one staff person is a newly created position, and she assists all of our graduate students, those who are currently enrolled in graduate school here at Providence College, and those who have graduated. And she's a full-timer. We have 9 student workers who pretty much run our office on a daily basis. We would not be able to do what we do without our student workers. They are part-time, and usually they are working through the financial aid in our office. We also have 8 career assistants. They escort and work closely with our employers. When the employers come on campus, they are escorting them downstairs to the various rooms. Also, the career assistants help us by conducting workshops on resume reviews in the dormitories. So if you want to ask your son and daughter, if they haven't yet had their resumes reviewed by a career assistant, to definitely take part of that. We also have 2 career assistants. They are in graduate school here at Providence College, and one is responsible for, a small responsibility for her is she creates our e-newsletter, which I'll speak about shortly. She also does all the marketing and advertising for our events. And then we have another graduate assistant who helps the employer relations team with our recruitment for internships and full-time. We also have one part-time. He works during the school year, and he does all of our coaching and counseling for the students. And then we have an intern. We're located in Slavin 108. So we tell students that's our slogan is "Don't wait, Slavin 108." Our hours are 8:30 to 5:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then every Wednesday, we're in the office until 7 p.m. doing quick questions, and I'll speak about that shortly. So, what do we offer? Our services and resources offered by the office, we have e-Friars, and that's an electronic recruiting database. It houses all of our internships and full-time opportunities, volunteer experience, practice interviews. Currently, we have over 500 positions in e-Friars. Every student has access to that particular database, and it's called e-Friars. Every Friday during the academic year, we host practice interviews for our students. And those practice interviews are conducted by volunteers from our companies and the community, and they come in and they do just that. Get our students ready for their interviews for internships and full-time opportunities. And it's a 30-minute clip. Students sign up. They can sign up multiple times. What we've piloted this semester is instead of offering it just 1:30 to 3:30, we now have added a morning slot from 11 to 1 so we can open up and have more opportunities for students to partake in the practice interviews. You can come on up if you want to come forward, no problem. Don't want you to stand. Also on e-Friars, we have an electronic resource library where students can get access to YouTube video clips on interviewing, resume, cover letters, and also some other documents that we have that the students can also have access to for those particular things. Now, I mentioned earlier our weekend update. That's an e-newsletter. It goes to every student on campus on Saturdays. And I think it hits at midnight, Zara? Just go at midnight. So every student receives it. What we have in that newsletter is deadlines for internships, for full-time opportunities, practice interviews, events that we're hosting or being hosted throughout the state. We also put that in our e-newsletter. Then also we have an online access to various databases. We have Going Global, What Can I Do With My Major? Those are all different websites that we pay money to have access for our students. Handouts. In our office, we have a little kiosk when they come in. So when the students come in, we have different handouts. And I brought a sample. So if a student is not sure what he or she wants to major in, we have one on exploring majors and careers. This is also on our website. One on internships, networking and informational interviews. We're very big in the office on offering a lot of different opportunities for our students to network. One on interviewing and resumes and cover letters. So these are the documents we use as staff when we are coaching and counseling our students. We also have, for your child, is a first-year checklist on some suggestions we feel that the students should follow as they're going through their first year. We also do a workshop on LinkedIn. So we have a little checklist for our students to begin creating their LinkedIn. Individual appointments. Students can sign up for either 30 or 60-minute appointments with one of the counselors, which is all of the full-time staff members and our part-time staff person. And it can be a 30-minute, it can be a 60-minute. And what do? If a student wants their resume reviewed, they need practice on interviewing, they can't do a practice interview, we'll do that one-on-one with them. We'll review if they have information, if they're interested in going on to graduate school, or they just want to explore and they just want to chat, not sure what they want to major in. We will have appointments with them, and they come in and schedule that appointment with us. And if they want to come back, repeat times, they can do that. Usually what we do is, as staff, we begin to have followers. So we have students who will come to us at various times throughout the semester. Then, as I mentioned to you, every day we do quick questions. That's a 15-minute slot where a student can come in. They would come in and meet with any one of us. They are every day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 1:30 to 3:30. And then every Wednesday our office is open from 5 to 7 where the students can come in and meet with quick questions. As I mentioned to you earlier, sometimes our students are not really sure what they want to major in. So we have a couple of assessments that the students can take part in. One of them is called Focus, and one is called Strengths Quest. And the students are able to take that online. We help them create an account and then come back with us, and we will review the assessment with them and help them in trying to determine a major and or a minor. Also, there's one other website I was telling you about is What Can I Do With My Major? And of course, we do assistance with job and internship searching. Zara and I are both responsible for securing companies to come on campus, either to list post positions or do actual on-campus interviewing. So we really love it when the companies come on campus and feel what it is we're about and experience our students here. So a good part of the month of October was absolutely crazy. We had so many companies on campus. Also, companies come on campus and they conduct information sessions. So if you want to learn more about a company, they are able to do that, or have a lobby table in Slavin 108. Companies are able to do that as well. Particularly for those companies that don't really have a strong brand on campus, we encourage them to come in and do either a lobby table or an info session. Connections with alumni. Alumni are phenomenal. They absolutely will do anything we ask. They call us, they want to hire our students, they want to mentor, they want to shadow. I will talk about our shadowing program shortly and our mentoring program, all because of our alumni. So we have a very strong alumni component that we really adore and cherish. We would not be able to do our job and be as successful as an office if it were not for our alumni. And then also, as I said to you earlier, students who are usually in their junior or senior year talking about graduate school will also help with that. Events. We're very busy. We just completed our Fall Expo, which was held on September 24th. We did have some freshmen. I'm not sure how many here. I don't want to call on you. But we had a lot of freshmen come through the front door of our Fall Expo. It was very successful. There were 130 companies and graduate schools. Graduate schools are only allowed to come to our Fall Expo. We also have one in the spring that I'll talk about. We had record attendance. There were over 1,100 students attend the Fall Expo. And also part of the Fall Expo, we did a major and minor fair where students and faculty had tables and students could go up, especially those who are undeclared or not sure, and talk to students who are majoring in that particular major or faculty to help them decide if that's something they were interested in. Then we had an internship showcase where students who participated in internships either currently or in the past, and I think one of our panelists actually participated in the internship showcase. So for students who wanted to get more information about what is a day in the life at XYZ company, they could talk to the students. And we did all of that on September 24th. Upcoming on November 5th, there's a government and nonprofit job fair. We will participate. We're not hosting it. It will be at Johnson & Wales. I have a list if you're interested in seeing some of the companies that in the nonprofit and government companies. We will be providing transportation for our students who are interested in going to that career fair. Just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we had the Liberal Arts Regional Connection, which is called LARC. That's held in Boston for about 12 Catholic, Jesuit, and Dominican schools, strictly for those 12 schools. And it was a career fair for liberal arts majors and business majors. So I talked to one student who said, I found this to be less intimidating because it was a smaller scale as far as the number of companies. Then also students were able to do a resume drop and interview that day. So I just talked to one student who's been in my office numerous times. She just got a second interview as a result of interviewing right there on the spot. So that's held every year. They've been doing it for about 20 years. And other schools that are there, it's like Mount Holyoke, Smith, Bates, and other really great schools like Providence College. I will talk to you briefly in a few about the Executive Mentor Program. And then, of course, during the fall, we're all doing workshops. We do workshops in the office on interviewing, preparing for the career fair, LinkedIn. And then some students, it's difficult for them to come to our office. For instance, the sports, the athletic teams. So what we do is we take our services to them. So we have a really great relationship with some of the coaches and the assistant coaches. So they'll get the team together, we go in and we deliver the workshops. And then we've done that for some other groups as well. I know Zara and I are working closely with the education department because it's difficult for some of the student teachers, and so we'll actually take our services or do it at night or when it's convenient for them. Winter time. The winter break, during Christmas break, we'll do a shadowing program. I'll talk to you about that shortly. And then we also do alumni. Here we go again with our alumni. It's phenomenal. We do an alumni student networking for a day. So there are two coming up. January 7th, it will be in Boston. January 8th, New York City. And it's for all students to do the networking. And then we used to do one in DC, but it wasn't very well attended. So I think we're going to rework that one. And that's all done by Stacy Moulton, who's on the team. We also do PC in Hollywood. Unfortunately, Zara and I can't do that one, but it's done with our director, Patty Goff, and she works closely with PC alumni who are in Hollywood in the entertainment business. 11 students from the theater, film, and dance, 11 students only actually will fly out and stay in California and participate in some of these opportunities, whether it's a shadow or events, and that's usually done during the Christmas time period. What a great time to go to California. Springtime. So again, we're going to do another Providence networking event. That will be in Slavin 64 Hall on January 21st, and it's not just for Rhode Island residents, any Rhode Island students. Any student here at PC on January 21st can attend that networking event. Then we have our spring career fair. That particular career fair is focused on internships and also full-time. This year, when we held it, in 2013, there were about 300 students attend. This year, we had a record number of 750 students. So we were really excited. A lot of that is due to the way in which we promote. Of course, we're heavy. We have a lot of our student workers and our graduate assistants are young, so they're that social media, the tweeting and Facebook and everything. So we had 750. It will be held this next year on March 4th. So freshmen, put that on your calendar. Also, we'll do some prep workshops for students who are a little uncomfortable in attending a career fair. Will help you gain that comfort level. On April 23rd, for anyone who's an education major, we're going to be part of the Massachusetts Educational Recruitment Consortium, which will be held at Northeastern in Boston. We're hoping to have a busload of students. This is during the break time when student teachers are on break, so we'll go up and participate in that, and that's an actual career fair for ed majors. And it's not just for seniors. If anyone wants to go, they'll be able to sign up and attend. There's also the Big East Job Fair, which is held in March. We are one of the Big East schools, and so there's participation both on a virtual level, we'll have a career fair, and then the actual career fair at Madison Square Garden. And then, of course, we continue with workshops and panels during the semester, spring semester. The panels. We just had a careers and science panel. I believe there were 170 students participated, and then the panelists, I don't remember the number of panelists, but they were both PC alums and non-PC alums. We also did a health policy management career alumni forum, and then we just had a workshop, a session for anyone who is interested in planning for a career in student affairs, which was also hosted by a PC alum. I mentioned earlier about the mentor program. That is a 2-year program for juniors. And it's a 2-year commitment both for the mentor and the student. And the mentors are both PC alums and non-PC, and it's a great way for students to receive guidance and career advice through structured and non-structured activities. Some of the students have actually landed an internship and full-time opportunities as a result of their relationship with their mentor. So that's an official match. The students are interviewed. They have an opportunity to select a couple of mentors as option A and option B, and that's through our career education services by Stacy Moulton, who works closely. Then I mentioned to you the shadowing program. We are going through that selection right now. I think the last I heard, we had about 80 applications. It's for all students, all majors, and they will shadow an alum. This is only shadowing alumni during the Christmas break. So there's 1 week during the Christmas break where the students will go to a company and shadow them during the day. So I'm not sure how many, if any, freshmen signed up for that, but it's a great experience, and if they're interested, they can participate. If they didn't do it this year, we highly recommend that you do it next year. So, student career engagement. 74% of our seniors indicated on a survey that we did during Cap and Gown that they received an internship through Providence College. 130 plus students last year participated in the shadowing experience, and over 350 students have attended our alumni networking events. We also know how important it is for parents. You want to know what's your return on your investment, right? So was it like $55,000 per year times 4 years? It's a huge investment. So what's the return on their investment? What are the students going to get as a result of being engaged with our office? The graduating class of 2013, we have 86% of those students are employed, and 12% are attending graduate school. Sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Zara. And then 2% we haven't heard from. We are working on the data. We do 6 months out from graduation, so we're just now working on the data for class 2014. We don't have it quite yet. It'll be released probably in the next couple of months. And you'll be able to access that on our website. The employee relations team, it's Zara, then Mercedes Forrest is our graduate assistant, Liz, and then Carla Misto is the mother of Kayla, who's to my left, and then Laura Pilecchia, she's our associate director of internships. So now's the time that you've been waiting for. We are now going to turn it over to the students who are going to begin by introducing themselves, and then we have a series of questions that I'm going to ask them. If we have time at the end, we then will open up for questions and answers from parents and students.
Hi everyone, welcome to campus. My name is Kayla Misto. I'm a senior here at PC. I'm a health policy and management major and a sociology minor, and I'm from Foster, Rhode Island.
Hi, I'm Kabrick. I'm a senior as well. I'm from South Windsor, Connecticut, and I'm an accounting major and a finance minor.
Hi guys, I'm Lauren Kramer. I'm a sophomore here. I'm a psychology and social work double major, and I'm from North Kingstown, Rhode Island.
Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Carlos Ayala. I'm an international student from Paraguay. I'm a freshman here at Providence, and I'm a double major in finance and economics.
Give them a round of applause just for being here this morning. So I'm going to ask some questions, and then I'm going to open up for whichever student is comfortable in responding can do so. So I'm going to start with where and when did you do an internship?
I'll start off. So I've actually done 2 internships throughout my 4-year experience at PC. The first internship was the summer before my junior year. I interned at United States Senator Jack Reed's office right here in Rhode Island, in Cranston, Rhode Island. And then my second internship was this past summer at the Rhode Island Department of Health, which is actually 5 minutes from here.
I've actually done 4 internships. I did my first one was the summer of my freshman year. I worked at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Then during my sophomore year, I interned at EPAC Software in Greenwich, Rhode Island during school. That was a challenge. And then the summer of my junior year, I interned at Pratt & Whitney in Connecticut. And then this past summer, I interned at PricewaterhouseCoopers.
I've completed 2 internships. The first was my senior year of high school. I worked at the Rhode Island Department of Corrections and Reentry Services for a year. And right now I'm currently working with a program called New England Advocacy Services, and we work in the family courts down in Providence, and we work with sexual assault and domestic violence victims.
If you could please share, how did you find the internship?
I found both my internships through eFriars, which is the career database through the Career Education Center. They're both listed right on that database, and then knowing that I would be in Rhode Island over the summer, I was able to filter it by industry, so I chose healthcare, and by location. So I found those both in Rhode Island and was able to apply right through eFriars, and the contact information was listed right there. So I either submitted my resume and cover letter through eFriars, or I was able to email the contact person that was listed on eFriars.
I've had kind of mixed experiences. Some of it was just due to my own networking, but 2 of the internships were related to career services. The EPAC software, I did the shadowing program over the winter break, and they just contacted me out of the blue, and they said, we're looking for an intern, and that actually translated into the internship itself. And then with PricewaterhouseCoopers, I also got that applying through eFriars. Now, I'm going to tell you something, you're not applying to a black hole. It seems like you are, you're really not. You will get called back. Just keep going. Don't get discouraged by it. Just keep put yourself out there. If you don't, you're going to miss 100% of the opportunities you don't take. So.
I found my internships mostly on my own. I found the most recent one, New England Advocacy Services, through the winter shadowing program. I shadowed a judge on family court, Judge John Mutter, through the Career Service Center, and that's where I found the agency that I now intern for.
Perfect, thank you. Carlos, if you can speak to the audience on how you've utilized the career services as a first semester freshman.
Yeah. So since I'm a freshman, I haven't done any internships yet. I did one in high school, but it was back in Paraguay. So when I came here, I was a management major, but I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. I just knew I wanted to do something related with business. So I went to the office, I spoke with Liz, and after a lot of meetings and a lot of information, I decided I wanted to switch to finance and economics. So they really helped me found what I was looking for, and now they're helping me a lot to build a network and my resume. I also applied to a winter shadow program, so now it's my turn to work in order to get the internship or the summer programs. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Just to kind of build off of that is the internships that I've done have kind of steered me in the direction of where I see myself in the future. I also came in as a management major because I knew I wanted business. I didn't know what aspect of it. So I've worked in sales, communications, finance, and now accounting. So that is also channeled it. You can go to class all you want. You can learn what you're learning in class, but you won't actually know what you want to do until you get out there. So that's why internships are so critical to actually your future.
If you could please, any one of you, please give a brief description of what you've done at your internship. Also, department, any major projects that you've worked on. Anything you want to highlight?
So my first internship with the United States Senator of Jack Reed's office, I was responsible, it was part-time internship. So I was responsible for one of the things that I did was I would go onto the constituent database, and I was responsible for, my supervisor knew that I was a health policy and management major, so she kind of gave me the projects that were related to the healthcare industry, which was great that she kind of had that connection with me and knew that that was my focus. So I would make sure that we had updated information for all the nursing homes in Rhode Island and assisted care facilities in Rhode Island. So I was able to kind of do some research, make sure we had the updated information, which then gave me exposure to all of the nursing homes and facilities that do exist in Rhode Island, which was great for me to see even opportunities that I could have after graduation at those different facilities. And then this summer at the Rhode Island Department of Health, I was responsible for assisting and certifying utilization review agencies and health plans that are operating in Rhode Island. So I'd kind of go through and make sure that their applications complied with all of the Rhode Island laws. And then one of the major projects that I was working on was for the director of the Department of Health. My first day at the internship, I had a meeting with the staff members in my office, as well as the director of the Department of Health and his staff members, and he wanted to do some research on network adequacy, which is kind of what are the geographic distances that people should have when they need to go to a hospital, or how many providers should people have in their healthcare health insurance network. So I was responsible for doing information and research on that, and then reporting back to him and his staff members at the end of I had a month or so to work on that.
In my interning experiences, I've done a variety of things. At the Make-A-Wish Foundation, I prepared them to be audited, and for their compliance checking, just going through all the receipts and seeing every single donation that they get in a year, which is excessive. And then moving on to Pratt and Whitney, I actually was part of a community outreach program. Prior to joining Pratt and Whitney, all you heard in the news was layoff, layoff, layoff. So they wanted to change that. So I developed a program called Where in the Community is the Dependable Engines Eagle, and it was a way for us to show what Pratt and Whitney was doing in the communities around, and obviously on an international level. And this led to what was supposed to be a bi-monthly newsletter, but we had so much material that it actually ended up to be a weekly newsletter, and it was one of the most top-read newsletters as well. And then this past summer at Price Waterhouse, I had to do a bunch of research on the applicable certifications that you can obtain, that an individual can obtain to further their own personal knowledge and continuing education with regard to like your CPA, a CISA, which is Certified Information Auditor, or Certified Public Accountant, Certified Fraud Examiner. So we had to do that as PwC is looking to actually pay for their employees to obtain these certifications because they are relatively expensive. So they want to invest in their employees, and that was what research I did.
All right. My first internship at the Department of Corrections and Reentry Services, I worked with a program specifically called Books Beyond. And what we did is we worked one-on-one with inmates all the way from minimum to the maximum security prisons. And we went into the facilities and we recorded them reading a children's book, and we'd then send that book to their child so they could keep the family connection. And that was really meaningful because it just provided such a great experience for me as a high school senior and really directed where I wanted to do in the future. So I am continuing with law. And then for my second internship, again with New England Advocacy Services, I work one-on-one with domestic violence victims, and I help them get restraining orders in the courthouses, but my main role is to go with them to the court and protect them from their abuser. A lot of times victims are scared to press charges or to, confront their abuser in court. A lot of times they're harassed or scared, like very scared. So I'm there just to provide support for the victim and help them get the services that they deserve.
What specific skills did you gain from the internship?
I found that I gained writing skills, definitely. I think especially in my internship this past summer at the Rhode Island Department of Health, throughout my entire life, basically, when you're in class and in school, you're writing papers that you hand into a professor. And for the first time, I was writing letters to the utilization review agencies and handing it into professional agency and professional companies. So that was a little intimidating for the first time to know that it wasn't a professor, I wasn't getting a grade, it was actually a company. And so it was kind of a different approach. So I would be responsible for drafting these letters, and I would sit down with my supervisor every time, and she would go over what I could say differently, what I could improve on, or what sounded good. So I think not only writing skills in a professional aspect, but also how to get to the point in the healthcare industry. My teachers, especially more recently, now that I'm a senior, have said getting to the point is important. You're going to have reports out there, and employers are not looking for a long paper. They're looking for something right to the point, and that was something that I found that I had to do this summer, and I think is really important now that I'm going to be graduating soon and entering a field that requires that type of writing.
I think out of all of my interning experiences, the most critical thing that I've taken from it is professionalism. Learning professionalism, like I go by the philosophy: dress for the job you want, not the one that you have. I did get shown up by our freshman panelists this morning, but additionally, not only is it dress, it's being able to write professionally. Writing an email that you wouldn't even believe how far that will go, because if you're not, when you're applying for some of these things through e-Friars, you're going to get an email back. But you can leave a first impression through an email just because the way that you carry yourself virtually as well as when you're actually face-to-face with these people. Eye contact, another huge thing. But these things can't really be taught. They have to be practiced. So that's the kind of stuff that's not necessarily what you're going to learn in class. So that's what I said I gain from everything.
I really second that. Again, professionalism is really important, especially like when you're 18 years old and you're working in a maximum security prison. I mean, you really have to present yourself in the right way to be respected and to just present yourself. Yeah.
Carlos, you've signed up for an opportunity next week that's offered through Providence College, the Career Services. Do you want to speak about that?
Yes, it's a trip to Brown Brothers Harriman, and it's a trip for all business majors. Anyone can sign up. It's only for sophomore, juniors, and seniors. But since I was very interested, I was able to speak with Elise and Sarah, and they were able to find me a spot there. So next week I'm gonna go there. We're gonna go and get a tour of the company. I'm gonna see how it works, and it's a shadow day.
It's an open house.
Yeah.
One of the managing partners at Brown Brothers Harriman is a PC alum. So he made sure that Providence College was part of that list of schools where we will have students go up. So the deadline to sign up was yesterday. But Carlos, he has an actual office in our office because he's there so often. So he came in and said, I want to be part of it. And I said, well, it's just for sophomores. So I made a phone call, and our representative at PBH, it's wonderful, he loves PC, he said, absolutely have him sign up. So we're great to have Carlos represent as a freshman. If you can share with the audience what you've learned in the classroom that really helped you be successful in your internship.
I would say, again, to touch upon the writing skills, my professors, like I said, they really emphasized getting to the point and how that's important. And my health policy professors have kind of we've always discussed right from the beginning of my freshman year, HPM 101, that the healthcare field has a lot of acronyms, and even the professors don't know them all because there's just so many out there, and there's so many new acronyms popping up in the industry. So I think for the first time I was able to kind of see that in the actual professional world, all those acronyms and the industry lingo as well surfacing up and in what I was doing. So I think just seeing what you've learned in the classroom and then applying that to an actual internship has been really beneficial.
With my last internship at Price Waterhouse, I worked in Hartford, and most of the clients, Price Waterhouse is a public accounting firm, so most of the clients that they serve are healthcare, are huge insurance companies. So I actually took an HPM, Health Policy Management 101 class, just so at least I understood what product was being sold or what I was auditing. I was astonished by how the class paralleled exactly it was exactly what I had expected. Additionally, these curriculums are tailored to what's actually going on in the world right now. The amount of times where I've been sitting at a desk and I look at the material in front of me and I said, wow, okay, I've seen this before because I've seen it in my classes. It's real life situations that you're being taught in class. I actually just had to, in my advanced accounting class, we just had to do a project on acquisitions, on a major acquisition that has happened in the past, and we were instructed to read the 10Ks that were related to the acquisition of itself. So you're learning real life stuff. It's not like, I mean, like I learned, you have your core classes. We do have Civ, you do go through that, but these classes teach you how to think. So when you actually get into your core classes to do with your major, you're able to think critically and you're able to analyze things a lot more than you would have. I mean, personally, I would say 10K, what is that as a freshman? So it's much more intimidating, but now as a senior, I feel like I'm much more inclined to tackle a difficult project.
All right. With my double majors, I get a really good perspective of the human being and how they think and how they act. So with psychology, I'm really learning why people act the way they do, and then with social work, I get to interpret that and then learn how to interact with them properly. Especially in social work, I did a lot with service learning, and for any, I think it's social work, and then I forget the other major that does it, but we go out into the community, and I think it's 2 or 3 hours a week, and we work with specific organizations. So again, in the classroom, you're really getting that experience one-on-one with local organizations and agencies. So you just can't get that experience in the classroom, but it's great.
Thank you. What did you learn in the internship that you can bring back into the classroom?
So my internship this summer at the Department of Health, I knew that I would be working a lot with health policy and kind of that aspect. And this semester, I'm actually taking my health policy course. So I knew that I would see some overlap there. So there's one thing in particular called Certificate of Need, which I know a lot of freshmen, even if you are health policy and management majors, you may have no idea what that is. And I really didn't know what it was either when I was starting the internship. And then one of the staff members in the office, that was kind of his specific responsibility, was Certificate of Need, which is kind of like hospitals will submit this and to apply if they need a certain type of medical equipment or service in their hospital. And then what was interesting was that in this class I'm taking now, my health policy course, we've talked about that multiple times. We've read articles about it, and it was really great to have that perspective from the work world and the professional world, and then bring that into the classroom. And also, what was great about the Department of Health was that about every week or so we would have, they were called Public Health 101 presentations, and a certain person from every department would kind of talk about for an hour what they do to give us perspective of what's out there in the Department of Health and in the healthcare industry. So I got to see a lot of other different jobs and then what those people do, and then some of what they told me about and their responsibilities I could see kind of come into the classroom, and what they do and how that relates to the articles we're reading.
I would think time management would definitely be the biggest thing that I've taken from any of my internships, is especially when I did the one while I was in school. That was extreme. That was a very big challenge. I was working 20 hours a week, commuting to and from my place of work, and taking 5 classes at the same time. Right now, I'm taking 20 credits. I'm taking 6 classes. So I like to stay as involved as I possibly can. And this is something that I definitely think is gonna help me later in life, is because if you can't manage your time, you can't manage these projects. Like at work, if you're gonna get deadlines. I'm sure, as all you parents know, you're gonna have deadlines, and you have to answer to somebody if you don't meet that deadline. And if you're able to allocate your time efficiently, then that's something that can be translated into your homework, a project, etc.
The biggest thing that I've learned in my internships is definitely, again, time management, as well as just getting an overall sense, an almost insider view of the system, especially with the legal and correctional places that I've interned with. You can't get that in a classroom. You can't get that in a book. You can sit in a classroom and read about domestic violence victims and how to help them, but you don't really get that experience of working one-on-one with them, and you don't get that personal almost feeling of helping them just reading it in a book. So it's interesting for me to take my internship almost into the classroom, because now with my internship, I mentor 3 of my peers in one of my social work classes, and they come with me to the courthouse to gain that experience because it's just so valuable.
Thank you. Outside of using eFriars to look for internships and full-time opportunities, what other ways have you used the Career Services Office?
I used the Career Services Office first for help with my resume, kind of to transform it from a high school resume to apply to college and get a student worker position here at PC my freshman year to transform it to a college resume that I would be applying to internships with. So they were very helpful with that. Even LinkedIn, that was so intimidating to me. I had no idea how to use it, and it was totally different. I knew it was some sort of online something, but it wasn't Facebook, so it was much more professional. And so I knew that I had to kind of take that seriously. And I met with one of the counselors in the Career Services Office, and she was so helpful. She told me what to include in it, how I should kind of tailor my language so that it would so that people and employers could see the type of job that I'm looking for. And then she also helped me just talk about and go over how I should brand myself and market myself as a person based on what I'm looking for in an industry. Even though I'm healthcare, I'm really interested in working with people and building a kind of connection with people in the job that I one day will have. So she was very helpful with that.
Resume development is obviously it's one of the biggest things that students use the Career Services Office for. But also, as I was linked with one of my peers who has actually helped me get to where I am today. He pretty much took me under his wing. He's also working at PwC. He had just started like two months ago, something like that. And I'm now looking to kind of give back and do the same thing. So it's like a rewarding effect. So is learning from an adult might not be as powerful as learning from a student, especially if they're one of your peers, and you're going to make lasting relationships no matter where you go. So the Career Services Office might think of somebody, oh wow, they're doing the same thing as you, maybe you can help them, and as well as they are a resource too for themselves.
With the career services has really helped me again with my resume and really focusing it and tailoring it towards what I want to do and what jobs I'm seeking. I'm currently looking for an internship at a law firm. I'm pre-law. So I went into career services and they helped me really tailor my resume and put like related experience and then other experience so that the first thing employers see on my resume is what I've done in my internships and the experience that I've had.
Well, as I said before, the office helped me figure out my major. Also, with my resume, I had to start my resume. I didn't know how to transition from my high school resume to college resume. Now that I know my major, I'm really looking forward to get an internship this summer or maybe a summer program. So with the office, I'm contacting several alumni that are helping me with the shadowing program. So it's just network, and any questions I have, they help me. They give me all the resources.
Thank you. As we're about to wrap up, I do want to allow some time for questions. If you can share advice or suggestion or to the freshmen as a result of what you've learned, or if there's anything that you wish you had done differently at the beginning of your academic journey here at PC.
So some advice I would say, just start early. Like Carlos, like that's amazing. Freshman for first semester, absolutely start early because it can only help you and not hurt you in any way. The mentoring program has been amazing for me. So I would recommend applying for that your junior year. My mentor is someone that I just have built such a great personal connection with. She even gave me the opportunity during my spring break last year to shadow not only her for the day, but every member of her staff. And for an hour, I went through and I sat down with everyone in her office and got to see what they all do. Even though it's one office, they all do something totally different. And that was amazing to see. Wow, you do this, you work a lot with computers. I don't want to do that. So what does she do? And then I got to see everybody's daily tasks. And I was even given the opportunity. She lives locally, and her daughter is applying to colleges this year. And I gave her daughter a tour of the school, and it was amazing just to have that connection beyond just the mentoring program and the kind of the professional aspect that I was able. She gave back to me, so I was able to give back to her and help her daughter out. So absolutely get involved with the programs because those one-on-one connections that you make are very helpful, not only professionally, but just to have as an individual, because they're really rewarding.
I would also say start early. The first conversation I ever had is with our freshman panelists is it blew my mind. Is how first week of school in college, he said, "I want a job." I was like, I said that my junior year. That was like, so I was a late bloomer, I guess. But start as early as you possibly can and do it for yourself. When you think about investing in yourself, obviously, if parents are paying for school, that's one thing. If maybe you're paying for school, this is a time. You have 4 years to pretty much personalize your own brand. You're at the end of this, you're your own product. How are you going to sell it? Because if you want it, like if you want a job, that's essentially what you're doing. You're selling yourself. You're bragging about yourself. Like that's what an interview is. That's what your resume is. So again, moving on top of that is building your own brand. Is get involved. It's not all about It's not all about GPA. It is, but get involved in clubs. Find a leadership. Some sort of leadership is what they're gonna. Is I've always been asked in interviews, where have you demonstrated leadership? Personally, I'm involved. I'm the treasurer of the Accounting Association. I'm a member of the PC Republicans Club. I have a few other clubs that I'm involved in. I tutor in the OAS office on campus. But just all of these opportunities they've steered me towards where I want to be, and they're great talking points in interviews too. So most of the club meetings are once a week. It's not an absurd commitment. So just get involved, guys. That's the best way that you can actually build up your resume on top of your GPA and any internships.
All right. Everything that they've said really hits the nail right on the head. Definitely get involved. Definitely start early. You can take all the classes you want, but you can get into the real field and you can realize that that's not what you want to be doing. So definitely the more experience you have, the better, because it really tailors you to what you really want to do and what's really going to make you happy. So definitely take advantage of every opportunity, get involved with clubs, meet new people, make connections. Networking is probably the biggest and most important thing you can do here, and the Career Service Center really helps us with that.
I would also say start early. It may sound well, like it may sound like it's a long time from now, junior year, senior year, and internship, but it's actually it goes really fast. So that's why I started early, and also get involved with the leadership programs with the clubs. Every time there's like 2 meetings a month, and every time there's a speaker, I would stay after the speech and just talk to him, network, send an email, just like introduce yourself to people, start networking. And if you do that, you can get an internship, a summer program this year, next year. So that would be, yeah.
And to add something onto that is just every time that they have companies come, the school has companies come in. We get emails about it. I know everyone wakes up with 25 emails from the school. Read them. Like they're there for a reason. But go talk to some of these. Go talk to some of the companies. Talk to the recruiters, HR people, the alumni. The alumni that come here, I know from PwC is a senior partner who's here on campus like easily I don't know, he's easily twice a month. So like 6 to 8 times a semester, he is able to come from New Jersey and come here. So that's how much he likes Friars. They want you guys. They know you're getting a Class A education here at PC, and you're like, they like who we are. But and on top of that is always network. You're going to build up your network. You never know who you're going to talk to. You could be having a conversation with somebody. That person could be your future employer. You have no idea. So just always carry yourself as if you are talking to your future boss. It's just a way to stand out from the rest of the crowd.
I also
Go ahead.
I also have to say, definitely go to any speaker that comes. I was actually able to meet the dean of the Columbia Law School 2 weeks ago because he came and he spoke to us about applying, especially even for medical school students or graduate school students. If you want to go to graduate school, they come here, they talk to us. The best way to get into a school is, meeting the dean and seeing what they want. So it's really calming, actually, I love it. I love meeting them. Sorry.
Well, go ahead, Kayla.
Just one more thing. Like we all kind of talked about, get involved. Even as a senior, I'm still kind of uncovering what it is that I'm actually interested in. And through your internships and through your experiences, you may find what you like and what you don't like. I actually, my internship, so they were wonderful experiences that I'm so grateful for. I didn't particularly enjoy what I was doing every day, which is fantastic because now I know I don't want to apply to that job someday. I don't want to go into that office. I actually learned my work-study job here. I actually love what I do here. I'm working more with adult students through the School of Continuing Education here, and that's what I really enjoy doing, is working with people. So through your involvements, you may kind of find what you're interested in, even if you don't expect it. So even if you do have internships that you're not particularly fond of or not super excited about, do them, because even if you don't like them, then that's just as rewarding as if you do like them, because you know what direction you're headed for when you exit college.
Wow, that was a phenomenal panel. If we could give them a round of applause. And pulling the panel together, it was done with very little preparation. So most of what they've shared was they've all crafted that on their own. I had nothing to do with that. I know we're running right up on time. I do want to allow for, if anyone has any burning questions, particularly for the panelists, you have this opportunity to ask right now, and there is a microphone if you want to ask some questions. You have a microphone. Yeah, I think it's being recorded and maybe live streamed for another room, so just want to make sure.
I was just wondering about the timing with respect to, I know you have a fair in March, and you
Yes.
said that a lot of internships would be discussed or perhaps pursued at that time. Is that for the block of time in the summer just following, or?
There for summer and for fall.
Okay.
So, and then we also have internships now that companies are on campus for the spring as well.
Okay,
So
thank
we
you.
definitely want tell your children to look in e-Friars every day and open our email, because we know a lot of it gets deleted, but that's why we send it out, because we do a lot of that advertising. Great question, thank you. Anyone else?
It's been my experience that most companies are looking for upperclassmen rather than freshmen. I mean, do you have certain employers that are looking for freshmen that are going into their sophomore year?
Yes, absolutely, we do, and we're working more on that. Also, Laura Pilecki, who's our associate director for internships. We also have a lot of companies that do like a focus day where you can go to them during the spring or during the summer, and you spend a day as a freshman. I think PricewaterhouseCoopers does something similar to that. But yes, we do have companies. More and more companies are seeing the value of a freshman. So, and we're working with our companies and including freshmen. Yes.
And on that, like for example, with the big four firms, they recruit freshmen and sophomores for the single day they call it leadership programs. At the end of those leadership programs, they will typically offer those participants an internship the following summer. So being a freshman or a sophomore, you could come back the next year. No, I'm good for the summer. So that's one of the best feelings in the world. I just came back from my internship with PwC, and I'm going to start full-time with them in August. So coming back as a senior, knowing that I'm already employed, as long as my GPA stays where it is, but it's a weight off of my shoulders. So it's like, that's just, the companies are kind of just going towards that.
Anyone else? that
I
has-
have one more question. The question I have is what all the other freshmen have is, and it's funny that no one's mentioned it. Were these positions paid? Were the internships paid?
You can go ahead.
My first internship with the United States Senator Jack Reed, it was not paid. So that luckily they were very flexible with me, and that's why I only worked part time and was able to supplement that with a paying job over the summer. My internship this summer at the Department of Health, it was full time and it was paid.
My first internship with the Make-A-Wish Foundation was unpaid. I did have to also work an additional job. That was a rough summer. But after that, my internship at Pratt & Whitney, I was paid. I was on a salary, and then at PwC, I was also paid.
Well, both my internships were unpaid, especially I know for sophomores and freshmen. A lot of times it's about getting the experience, and then with that experience, you can go and get a really good paid internship.
And, go ahead.
I would say it's just putting your foot on the door. Like the big four companies, the accounting companies, they have a leadership program or a summer program. After that, you get an internship, then another internship perhaps, and then you get the job. The same thing happens with banks. I'm really interested in working in a bank when I grow up. So I did some research about JP Morgan. They have an early advantage program for freshmen, and they also have internships for freshmen and sophomores. So if you're able to get into one of those, maybe you don't get paid, but after that, your junior year, you're like more chances that you're gonna get the internship and then the job if you maintain your GPA.
Great, thank you. Also, some of the internships that are unpaid, we work with the companies, and they can get full credit. Any last question before we break at this point? Yes, right over here. Do you remember when it was? What was it? Passed. I think it was October 9th for the mentoring program. Yes. Oh, it was yeah. Yes. When they're in their. Yeah, because it's junior, senior. It's a 2-year commitment. Yes. So please encourage your children to come and see us. They don't have to wait until they're a senior. We are increasing the foot traffic of freshmen by doing things like this and orientation because we don't want the students to wait until they're a senior and they come in with that deer in headlight look, you have to find me a job. So that's why we're trying to do a lot with our students now. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.